Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our horizontal planners for the next week in October. And I've got these pens and markers here ready to go, as well as these washi tapes I may use, these brushes and inks that I'll use for some mixed media techniques, some calligraphy ink for a little extra oomph. There's a gold pen that I actually do not use, and these sticker books which I'll pull from. Okay, let's go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get started. I had a really good idea for this spread as far as the color scheme and what I was planning on using. I grabbed florals from the Planny Thing Crystals and Florals sticker book and some large quotes from that fall seasonal book I just showed there on the top from the Happy Planner. So what I was thinking to do is just do some kind of clustering with these teal tones and make it, I don't know, just more about the teal and the florals than anything else. So that's the plan. I'm going to start off by trying to make a little cluster here of florals with this first quote. The quotes are from the fall sticker book, and I know that teal isn't necessarily a fall color, but it kind of works with the quotes themselves, kind of steering it more towards the fall. It has that "if it's raining then I'm not coming" quote, which, you know, for where I live, fall really is still pretty hot, but if we're going to get anything, it's going to be rain. Some of you guys live in places where there's heavy snow and stuff already by fall, but not us. We barely get any rain even, so that I thought kind of worked for me as a fall quote. And then that cozy weather vibes, you know, if it does rain, that kind of thing, cozy weather. So yeah, so anyway, I was going to really steer this towards rain and make this a rainy day spread with all this teal tone, which is why I pulled the Tombow dual tip brush pen, because I was going to make some raindrops. But I end up not really going that route in the end, and you'll see how it all turns out. But yeah. So there were some ideas floating around in my mind on what I wanted to do. I just hadn't really solidified anything yet. But I did know I want to combine these large quotes here with the floral. So I've gotten that far. Now I'm trying to figure out where to place them on the page. As you guys know, for the last couple months, I've been combining my social media planner with my daily planning. I just wanted to eliminate some extra work on my end as far as, you know, having a separate planner, and I like having it all together on one, you know, weekly view so that I don't miss out on posting anything. It's just a little bit more in my face that way. Long story short, I really have to be strategic about how much room I'm taking up on any one day and give myself a little bit of extra space for that social media, you know, kind of checklist. I started to lay things in with the florals and the quote at the top and the bottom, kind of diagonally proportioned. And now I'm thinking maybe I will work in more of a column look. So I started to lay in some boxes from the Planny Thing sticker book, and then I just got the feeling that I was gonna need maybe some long boxes. So I went ahead and pulled one I didn't show earlier, which was the Colorful Boxes sticker book, the original OG from Happy Planner, and pulled in a few gold long boxes with a grid pattern in there. And I'm layering in a couple of Planny Thing colorful boxes like I mentioned before, trying to still focus in on that teal tone that I want for the spread, but using the gold as a little bit of an accent. So now that I have those long boxes in to anchor the column that I'm building here, I'm going to play around with maybe some other side quotes or things that I think I can bring in to fill up the column a little bit, make it a little bit more decorative, but also have some functional space. So I'm trying to do two things here with the column itself. You know, I don't want to overwhelm it with decor. I really need functional space. But luckily, you know, there's a lot of stickers and things that could fit the bill as far as both functional and decorative. So I just cut one box out from the Year to Shine sticker book. Just again, looking for some saturated color, something to help, again, tie in more decor with that functionality. And I am just struggling a bit with how to make this work. I've got a few box stickers that I'm pulling in, and this one appointment one I thought I might be able to bring in for Friday. Give me a little bit more oomph here on the right hand side. I'm really not that good at layering, you guys. I struggle for some reason just layering stickers. Sometimes I feel like it comes okay, comes natural, but most of the time it's a struggle for me. And that just goes to show, you know, everybody has their strengths in planning and decorating their spreads. So don't get discouraged if something is just a little bit tough for you, if you just can't figure out how to make it work. I've been struggling with layering and with washi tape for, since I started, really. So I've never really felt entirely comfortable with either of those things. I usually can work it out enough to a place where I'm happy, but some people just lay it down and it just looks great. So that's not me, FYI. And because of that, I'm just gonna mention that I was really having a hard time with these gold boxes. I really wasn't able to make them work the way that I was envisioning. The gold was just too distracting, and I had decided to pull them and just totally change my direction for the spread. And as you can see, there was a bit of a gap between the footage. I forgot to turn my camera back on once it stopped rolling, and so we lost about 10 minutes, but you obviously didn't lose that much. It was mainly me picking up the gold and replacing where I wanted those quotes to be. So I started pulling in a few more boxes in different shapes. Those rounded edged boxes came from that seasonal fall sticker book that I got the quotes from. The other boxes you saw me pull from the Year to Shine sticker book and from the Plan Anything sticker book. So that's where we're at. We've kind of went backwards a bit as far as the design, but I think that this direction is getting a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, because I really wanted those teal tones to be the star of the show on this spread. Again, still working with the columns. I've shifted them a little bit, so I have them indented away from the edge but not centered. What I've been doing is just having a really small, like maybe a fifth of each day devoted to that social media section. So just kind of carving out a space on each day for that by pushing the columns in a little bit and giving me that space there. So that's where I'll probably be putting the social media, and then if I have any focuses for the day that don't have a focus box already on the day, kind of incorporated into the column, I'll probably try to fit in that there. And now I'm trying to work in some washi tape. I have a couple of different styles, one from the washi tape shop, which is that darker green one you see there, has a little bit of script writing on it, that came in a vintage set, which I really love that set, you guys. It's a good one. If you're shopping the washi tape shop, do check that set out and maybe pick something up. But anyway, so I have that set. I have this other watercolor, I don't know, it's a little bit grungy watercolor set that I got from Jane Davenport years ago. Trying to work in some of the blue greens from that washi tape, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can get this to work. I'm doing some rearranging over here on the side, trying to again build out a better column. I have that long box sticker in the darker green there at the top that I got out of the, I think, original fall sticker book from the Happy Planner. I really like that quote, but it has a, I don't know if it's rose gold, but it's not a true gold foiling on top of, you know, the box sticker for some of the text and for the outline. What I'm going to do is cut off a majority of it, I think, to save myself from having to really modify the sticker in any way. So I'm going to try to cut it right where it says hot teas and use just the bottom half of that box sticker. So the only real foiling you're going to see is the outline of the box. So I'm trying to work it in. I just am struggling a bit with how to do that so I don't have to deal with that really strong bit of foiling there where it says crunchy leaves on the quote. So I went ahead and cut it down and was trying to incorporate it. I really liked it there in the position, but it just looked weird because I had cut the box sticker. So I felt like I needed to butt up against the top of the page to really make it work. So I'm struggling a bit on how to make this all feel cohesive. And I've been pulling in a few florals here and there to fill out the rest of the column. Also bringing in more of the washi tape, although I really think that that teal tone that I grabbed from the more grungy watercolor one is just too bright. So let me try something else here. We're gonna back this off a little bit and figure out what to do next here. So like I said, I really wanted that dark green half box sticker there at the top coming in from there so that the cut line is kind of disguised. But I'm also not wanting that Plan a Happy Life header to be showing either in the colorful box I pulled from the Year to Shine because it's in blue. We'll figure out how I'm going to cover that in a minute. I reworked the washi tape. I had pulled another color of washi tape in a skinnier washi and I just laid a little bit of that in for some color, and I think that worked well. It wasn't quite as distracting and bright, so we're going to work with that. And I did a little sampling of the ink treatment I want to do on this, and I just wanted to see how it was going to look behind the quotes. So we're going to go ahead and try it out. But first I want to white out those darker lines, and that way when I put the ink over it, it kind of blends a little bit better. I have two tones of ink, one in kind of a darker green and then this teal tone. I'm just kind of mixing them, mushing them, making it into not quite a watercolor feel, but you know, just kind of like a colored mishmash background there to add a little bit more cohesion. That's a big word for what I want to say, but basically so that the column looks a little bit more together as one piece. The quotes had a lot of white space behind them, so this added color really helps the color feel like it's one big thing, if that makes sense. And I almost forgot to white out the line that I needed here behind Vibes. So I'll give that a minute to dry out, and then I will kind of ink over it a little bit to disguise that. And that's it. And I just used a blending brush. I grabbed a set from Michael's, I think earlier in the year, or maybe even last year. And they have like a big, medium, and small brush. You can get those on Amazon too. I will link mine, the ones I picked up below, as well as links to all the items that I used here in case you are looking for something in particular. But yeah, so that is how I went ahead and applied it, and just used some regular stamping inks. Also too, I almost forgot to cover that little header I mentioned before that was in blue, but I found a flag that will do the job, so I just went ahead and stuck that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish out whiting the black lines behind any of the florals or the quotes that are still, semi-transparent, because I don't really want that to show through the back of the sticker. So I went ahead and did that, just using a plain white opaque gel pen. And my preferred one is the Sakura Jelly Roll pen in a 0.1 tip, or 10 is the size I think they go for on the actual pen. And now I am dropping in that column that I built right on top of the ink I set down on the page. Just trying to clean up some of the areas where I didn't quite get all of the pieces laid down, or need to white out a little bit more of the line in the background. And I will trim off this circle sticker so it looks nice and clean there at the bottom. And then we're going to do the same over here on the left. Just trying to center up everything how it was on the wax paper. And just trying to make sure everything's nice and straight and even. So I'm going to make an adjustment on this one. It was a little bit crooked and the alignment wasn't quite right, so we're going to try to fix this. I think I just pushed that down a little bit too far. Let's trim this off. Okay, hard part is done. Now I want to add a little bit of texture. So I was thinking kind of like splashy texture because of the whole rain idea I had in the beginning, but we'll just stick with splatter this time. And I'm using a Tim Holtz splatter brush and a little bit of calligraphy ink that's water-based, and laying that right on top of those clear quote stickers. The calligraphy ink does a good job of setting up pretty fast, and it doesn't tend to bleed through the paper, the two that I have here. The white is pretty opaque, so it doesn't really bleed as much, and then the gold is, again, it's like a metallic. It has some thickness to it, if that makes sense. So it doesn't really bleed as much, it kind of sits on top of the paper. So again, just adding a little bit of texture, a little bit of fun with that splatter. A little bit of gold will just nicely highlight the tiny bit of yellow tones in the center of some of the flowers. And then finally, I will use my mild liners to set up my checklist for the week. And that will be it, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment too if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye!